All is well on your side?
Yeah, normal challenges, but yeah.
It's forever busy.
Yeah, boy, yeah, well,
Well, you don't pay attention to the man, Don't feel sorry for him, Don't feel sorry for him at all. Right?
You understand?
Listen, make the calls and head across to Batson and Associates and say that you want to speak to Dr. Batson.
No. Yeah.
No, take it away, my friend. Go right ahead.
Yes, man. Always a pleasure to be here. A pleasant good morning to our Facebook listeners. And of course, the listeners of Sky 99.5. Always a pleasure to be in your company. So today's program, we're going to discuss, as usual, a number of things. Those of you who are accustomed listening to us would know by now how the routine is. So one of the problems that I wanted to tackle this morning or talk about, and I did mention it on Thursday, was that situation associated with thyroid problems. So we're going to discuss, what are the functions of the thyroid? What are some of the health challenges that persons face now as it regards to thyroid health? And, how do we at Batson and Associates aid individuals from a natural and integrated perspective to really address this particular situation of thyroid issues? And we're speaking about a number of different thyroid problems. We're going to discuss thyroid nodules. We're going to discuss hypothyroidism, which is low thyroid function. We're also going to discuss hyperthyroidism, which is high thyroid function, and goitre, which is that growth, that very large growth when the thyroid is significantly enlarged. So those are some of the things that we're going to touch on. We're also going to look at how men within recent time have had an increased rate or an increased amount of issues as regards with men where thyroid problems is concerned, simply because some years ago, maybe 25, 30, 40, 50 years ago, thyroid problems were predominantly associated or presented by women. But now, within the past 5-10 years, we have seen a significant increase in thyroid issues among men, right? So that's something we're going to discuss. So the thyroid primarily is a gland that falls in the aspect of your endocrine system. So we know what our endocrine system fundamentally does. It is responsible for the glands. So your thyroid is a gland that produces hormones. We know what hormones are. Hormones are chemical messengers that are responsible for specific systems and functions in the body. So as it relates to the thyroid gland, we know the thyroid produces something known as TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. They also have, when they do blood tests, some of the things they look at would be a T3, T4 levels. And an individual who has a thyroid problem may have abnormal numbers where those are concerns. TSH, T3, T4. You could either have higher or lower numbers in any of those three. We know with hypothyroidism or low thyroid function, those numbers are usually lower than they're supposed to be, T3, T4, TSH. And in the case of hyperthyroidism, you find that those numbers tend to be higher than they're supposed to be. So in any case, out of balance, and we know with hypothyroidism or low thyroid function, there are a number of issues that one could experience. For example, you could have the issue of being overweight. You could have issues of severe problems with energy, being very lethargic, always tired, problems with headaches. And those problems could actually be attributed to the thyroid. Hypothyroidism, in the case of hyperthyroidism or high thyroid function, well, I think is even worse, simply because those persons have accelerated weight loss because their metabolism, again, it's too high. Remember, these hormones now are not as balanced as they're supposed to be. They're in higher amounts. So as a result of that, you find certain systems, metabolic systems, even the case of osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a problem that has been linked to hyperthyroidism simply because the thyroid gland is the gland that is responsible for controlling the amount of calcium that leaves your blood, not your blood, sorry, leave your bones and get into your bloodstream. So you find an individual who may have hyperthyroidism issue. They may also be an individual who's prone to stones, kidney stones, because of the amount of calcium being taken from the bones. As I said, they could have issues associated with musculoskeletal imbalance as it relates to osteoporosis because of losing that amount of calcium from the bones. Because remember, your bones are the warehouses for calcium, right? Your bones are comprised of the minerals calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus in the form of calcium phosphate. Your bones are the warehouses for calcium, or the warehouse rather for calcium. And as I said, the thyroid is responsible for actually providing the function of removing or escorting calcium from your bones into your bloodstream for various metabolic functions, right? So in a case like that, you see the predicament that you could end up in. What is more and more common now are individuals who have physiological issues or associated with the thyroid. And when I say physiological issues where you now have things like thyroid nodules, you have thyroid cysts, you have thyroid goitre, which you know is where the thyroid gland is enlarged. So here you have an abnormal, physiological issue where you now have growths taking place or cysts and these type of things being in places that they're not supposed to be. Now, let me just touch on cysts and thyroid nodules and thyroid cysts and all these abnormal growths very close to the thyroid gland. What you have to understand, with the human body, we know how vitally important circulation is, right? We know blood circulation is responsible for transporting what? Oxygen and nutrients to what? Cells, right? Cells give you tissues, tissues give you organs, organs give you organ systems, and organ systems give you the body. So it means that if you're not getting proper blood flow in certain areas in the body, it means that those cells are not getting what? Oxygen and nutrients, which will in turn cause what? And that's why people end up with things like tumors and different aspects associated. Well, I mean, it is one of the contributing factors, because we know tumors, usually chemical exposure, people who have been exposed to carcinogens, especially if it's cancerous. So persons who, have been exposed to serious chemicals, whether it's cleaning agents, whether they work in oil and gas, they use they in jewelry, so or they're dealing with things like lead and those type of things. Very dangerous chemicals which get into the body and can cause problems. So individuals who have thyroid problems, one of the things that I have said, and I continue to say, on a regular basis as it relates to the thyroid and even the lymphatic system, because you find, I've recommended castor oil for a number of persons, the black Jamaican castor oil. And one of the things that I tell persons, and that's something that we'll be getting very soon at Batson and Associates. Pleasant good morning to Miss Pauline McKenna, Miss Nicole Vanderpool, Miss Jen Bree. Yeah, so with that, you find that you are now in a situation where we need to correct this particular imbalance in the body. And that's very, very, very important, because one of the things that you find, as I said, is that once you're not getting sufficient blood flow, sufficient oxygen to those cells, you end up with problems. And that's where growths could take place. So cysts, fibroids, polycystic situations, as it relates to the ovaries, because you don't have proper cleansing taking place. So it's very easy for the cells to become corrupt or some sort of growth that that can actually now begin there because of this whole situation of imbalance in the body. So those of you who may have thyroid problems, as I said, castor oil is your best friend, the black Jamaican castor oil, that is, and you can actually apply it in the thyroid area. You heat the oil a bit and you apply it in the lymphatic area there, because very close to your thyroid, which is right, if you don't know your thyroid, is very close to between what is what we refer to as your voice box and just below the base of your throat there. So the thing is, you have your thyroid and you have your parathyroid, right? And the thyroid is a bit bigger and the parathyroid is just below there, right? So you need to flush that area out. You need to have proper circulation. And one of the things that castor oil does is that it actually helps with lymphatic drainage. So it is very good for massaging the body, especially areas like under your arm, women especially, the breast area, men very close to you could actually apply it, on the side of your legs, in your groin area there, because it is very good for preventing build up or growths in those areas, increasing oxygen exchange, increasing lymphatic drainage, which is very important, because we know the lymphatic system is the system that's responsible for cleaning or doing some level of maintenance to the cardiovascular or the circulatory system. So you find persons who have issues. That's why I tell persons it's very dangerous when lymph nodes are removed. I don't understand why, excuse me, I don't understand why that practice is so prevalent in Western medicine. I don't know what is the idea. You know, well, one of the concepts is that they believe that once the lymph nodes have been infected, so cancer or anything, then we should just remove it. That really is concerning, simply because if you understand the lymphatic system and you understand how the lymphatic system works, you'd realize that your lymphatic system is like a circle, right? So if it is you have what's the best way I could put this? Okay, so imagine you have a pipeline. So we're looking at a pipeline running from San Fernando to Port Street, right? Or let's just use that pipeline network, because basically that's what your lymphatic system is. It's a network of pipelines, for want of a better expression, that runs throughout the body, right? And of course, you have different lymph nodes. You have the mediastinal lymph nodes. You have lymph nodes on their arms. You have the ones close to your groin. You have the ones that are very close to your neck, the back of your ears, on their throat, very close to your clavicle there by your shoulder. So that's a very dynamic and a very essential system in the body. The thing is, when you remove lymph nodes, for whatever reason, somebody might come with a bright idea and tell you they need to do a biopsy. Somebody might tell you, okay, your lymph nodes is inflamed, so we're going to take it out, or you have been diagnosed with breast cancer. And they say, well, here what? Let's take out your lymph nodes. Bad idea. Bad idea. And I don't care what the oncologists say. I really don't care. It is a terrible idea. Because once you understand anatomy and physiology properly and how the body functions, there are certain connections that once they are broken, they're broken, right? It's kind of, it almost cannot be repaired. And when you remove lymph nodes, that's one of the things that you do. It is one of the most, I don't understand how people rationalize in medicine that is a good thing to do to people. But of course, we all entitled to our opinions, and that is my professional opinion. Because I really don't understand it. Because when you remove lymph nodes, think about persons who have removed lymph nodes. You find they have swelling under your arm. You could end up with lymphedema. And lymphedema is a serious situation where you have serious inflammation taking place in the lymphatic system. And because of that, lymphatic drainage is not taking place, which is why I'm such a huge advocate. Again, once you understand anatomy and physiology and proper hydration, you understand why it is vitally important to drink water. Because your lymphatic system only recognizes for the purpose of cleansing water. So it doesn't recognize juice, coffee, soft drink. It doesn't. Because in order for the lymphatic system to function properly, it has to have proper hydration. Then there's also rebounding. I know some of you would have know what rebounding is. If you don't know what rebounding is, basically you get a trampoline and you jump up and down, right? Skipping would help to some extent, but rebounding is actually one of the best ways to actually stimulate the lymphatic system, stimulate lymphatic drainage. A lymphatic massage is also a very good thing as well. I encourage persons who have problems with arthritis, maybe swelling in the legs, that type of thing, edema, as it is called. Sometimes, a lot of times, the lymphatic system may need addressing. And then, of course, there's the product that we carry at Batson and Associates called Santulan, which is a 7-channel detox. So Santulan cleans and detoxifies kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. So in a case like that, you find that it will assist individuals in actually freeing up that lymphatic system and improving circulation. So, you know, I often tell persons the most important organ system in the human body is the gastrointestinal system. But after that system, the race is between the central nervous system, the circulatory system, and the lymphatic system. I would put all three as second, especially based on how they are interconnected. Good. So that's something that you need to pay very close attention to. So in addition to that, we also carry different thyroid supplements. You find that stress is one of the things that has been blamed or has shown. Pleasant good morning to Miss Pamela Moses, because you find that with imbalance or stress, you have high levels of cortisol. We know what cortisol is. Cortisol is actually stress hormone. They have found, research has shown that when cortisol levels are exceptionally high in the body, you are now open to serious inflammatory response and you're open to serious diseases, especially cancer. You know, cancer has been a disease that, you know, when people tell you they don't know what causes cancer, that is just high-class rubbish. I mean, if we don't know what causes people sick, especially in this modern, we're in the 21st century, you could actually talk to people halfway across the world. You're telling me we don't know what causes people to get sick by now? Food, lifestyle, stress. You know, those are some of the things that contribute, especially in the case of thyroid issues. So there are some supplements that we carry at Batson and Associates to deal with that. Circulation tea is a product that we have seen that has helped persons with that, even though the tea is for circulation. But what a lot of persons don't understand is that when you're dealing with integrative medicine, a lot of the approach is approach that is holistic in nature, so that it's actually going to address and deal with the body from a holistic perspective, which is always what you want, because we know that disease, whether it's thyroid problems, diabetes, hypertension, or any disease that is in the body, it is basically an issue associated with imbalance. You either have too much or you have too little. Okay? So CMOS, which I've spoken to you guys 1,000 times about, that is actually a very good thing to maintain proper thyroid health, apart from a lot of other different aspects of health. That is something that helps significantly with thyroid problems. So that's something that you could get in the meantime, you know, before you come to us, or if it is you cannot get to us, at least you have something that you can use. Hydrating the body is very important as well, because I mean, you can't stress how important water is. You know, and cold, I don't understand how persons still in this cold water nonsense. Watch me, some holidays want some listen. Why are you drinking cold water? Explain that to me. Why? Why are you doing it? You know it's not good for you, but you're still doing it. Well, you know the old people say, if you don't hear, who don't hear this, feel. Because it is not good for you. It is not good. Drink your water at room temperature. It requires some adjustment, yes, but adjust it. The problem with a lot of persons, I'll tell you something, is that we tend to negate, you know, make less, minimize the seriousness of certain things. So there are people out there who would tell you, well, okay, I know how to drink enough water, and they look at that like that's a joke. Then some years after the diagnosis with diabetes or cancer, and you wonder why you get diabetes and cancer. Because you wasn't drinking water. You wasn't drinking water. Because we cannot, how to put it, I can't stress, not the word I want to use, but that's the one that comes into me right now, how important it is to hydrate your body properly. Simply because you would realize that you will end up in a situation where it is worse off. And the thing is, a lot of people do attribute that. And I tell persons, that's why I actually did integrative medicine, for the simple fact that it takes into consideration the body from a holistic perspective. Because you cannot look at the body only from a physical perspective. That doesn't make sense, because the body is not only a physical body. It's also a spiritual body, supramental, which is your subconscious mind, a mental body, which is your conscious mind, and a vital body, which is your energy body. So your body is basically 5 aspects. The physical body is the body that requires the most amount of attention in emergencies, because if the physical body is not dealt with, then you're going to be in problems. So for example, if you get a heart attack, I can't come and give you a thing to drink at that point in time. We need to deal with the physical body. So if the heart is, you might end up with myocardial infarction, which is a heart attack, and they may have to actually shock the heart itself to actually get that jump start again. So in a case like that, that is where the physical body requires a serious aspect or a serious issue of the physical body being dealt with. But keep in mind, what is used is energy, because electricity is what? fundamentally what? Energy. That falls in the category of vital, or how the vital body operates. So energy, frequency, those type of things, which now gives a physiological response, which is the heart starting to beat, or beginning to beat. So that in itself is just to help you to understand how important. Don't negate the negative effects of certain things. You know, like plenty sugar, you know it's going to do some harm to you. Don't sit down and try and rationalize and say, okay, I'll drink a soft drink every day and it wouldn't do me anything. Oh, really? Right. So you're going to, at the end of the day, you're going to sow what you're going to reap, what you sow. And that is vitally important as it relates to a number of things. So you make sure and get your hydration in. Greens. So there are some people out there who, for some reason, I don't know if Bush beat you or slap you or something like that, they don't like to eat greens. So they're not salad people. So lettuce, kale, things like your callaloo bush, cressels, all those type of. You're not that type of person. You hate that. Usually those people are what? Very sick people. If you're sick yet, it's just a matter of time. Simply because that is something that your body needs. And if it is you do not have it in ample amounts, you're going to end up in problems. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. So I'm just saying that to help you to understand. Do not negate or try to minimize how vitally important it is to take little steps in increasing or improving one's health. Look at your eyes. Let me give you an example. And we're going to go back to the lines. I'm going to give you the office numbers and the those locations in a little bit. But look at situations with your eyes. You remember old people a long time, they had a situation where they used to use a lot of eyeglass. So, you know, like my great-grandmother, I know, and my grandfather, I saw with it, they used to have an eyeglass. And an eyeglass was basically designed to do what? Wash your eyes, right? Now, why would you be washing your eyes? Why do you bathe? Why do you brush your teeth? Why do you go and do pedicure and manicures? Why you do those things? Why do you do facials? Why does wash your hair? Steam your hair? Why you do those things? To clean it, right? So your eyes, you don't think your eyes need cleaning? Think about it. Because chemicals enter the body, or substances could enter the body via your eyes. You know that, right? So chemicals or substances could enter the body in 3 ways. Respiratory, so via breathing. Well, 4 ways actually. So respiratory, it can be ingested. Dermally, which is through the skin, and ocularly, which is through your eyes. So those of you who are involved in things like mechanics, welding, those of you who deal with, you know, maybe hairdressers, whatever the case may be, all those things getting in your body and getting in via your eyes. Which is why I tell persons, anything as well that you put in your skin eventually goes where? It gets into the body over a period of time. And that's why they have linked skin cancers and different type of cancers to a lot of products that they have out there. Some of them have been recalled from the market because they contain things like lead and mercury. And you put that on your skin, you can't give somebody with that. And that's why I tell persons, you know, as someone was making a joke the other day, if it is you can't pronounce it, if you don't understand the ingredients that they put on it, it's better you leave it right there. It means most likely that is something that you shouldn't be using. And a lot of times, the industry standards for certain things, you know, even things like shampoo, conditioners, those type of things. A lot of times you find instances where, you know, those, you have to be very careful what you use because it is going where? In your scalp. And your scalp is actually one of the most absorbed. The palm of your hands, the sole of your feet, and your scalp is actually, in addition to the areas like by your joints, so between your elbows there, to the back of your knees, those areas are very easy for absorption. Those are the key absorption points in the skin, right? So that's where the mucous membrane, you find that things can absorb into the skin very quickly. So you need to be careful as regards to what you use where those things are concerned. All right, so let me give you those telephone numbers. You can give us a call on 222-8261. Now, keep in mind, of course, I'm giving you the numbers, but it doesn't have anyone there right now, right? But you can call tomorrow, please God. Or even if you call, they will get the missed calls in the morning, please God, and someone will call you back sometime during the day. So those telephone numbers are 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That's 314-9975. And those locations were located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That's Money Talks building in Montrose, Chagonas. We're also on the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Debe, as well as Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James, and Tobago is the Triangle building in Scarborough, Tobago. Okay, so someone is asking, as a child, I remember when my mother buy, a particular eye drop to use to get an eyeglass that has an oval shape. They don't have it anymore, someone was saying. So they actually had it in a way where you're able to wash your eyes, but they do sell eyeglasses. That's something that we actually looking to start getting back, so that and actually getting eye washes. You remember a long time, I remember old people, that tendency, they used to go and get things like DTP. There's a next bush, as they call it, I can't remember the name of it. And what they will do, they will make sure and get it like early in the morning when they say like the dew is on it, because apparently that is supposed to have some specific potency, like it's more potent at that time. And I'm quite sure, because these people say we talk about old wives' tale, but there are a lot of old wives' tale that has saved a lot of us, including myself. I remember when I was younger, we used to get things like camphor water, or a combination of camphor water and something that my great grandmother used to put there. Whenever your belly hurts you use you actually use that. Someone is saying you could use a shot glass. Well, yeah, that could work, I think, in some way. So we're going to open the telephone lines now. So I'm going to put you over to Mr. Dominic. Mr. Dominic, sir.
Friend.
Yes, my dear. So, yes, boss, sorry. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the telephone lines. We're going to entertain some calls, some WhatsApp, see where people's mind at this morning as regards to what we're talking about. Keep in mind your question could be anything related to health or the products and services at Batson and Associates.
All right. So you can give us a call at 625-2759 or 624-7729. 624-7729 or 625-2759. And of course, we welcome your messages, your voice notes particularly, at 333-995-0. You are listening to the program Overcoming Health Issues Naturally with Dr. Batson of Batson's and Associates. Paula, good morning to you.
Morning, Batson, how are you?
Morning, sir. I'm fine. And yourself?
All right. I called for some Santolan this week, but all finished. If I get a while from now.
Yeah, we should get by next week, please, God. Closer to the end of next week. Yeah, we had a little challenge where that is concerned.
All right. I just wanted to be the Batson Associate group from Shagwana has some very nice books here, especially one Mr.
Bastamante, Mr. Bastamante.
Oh, Bastamante.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a very nice gentleman. He always talk to you. When he finishes talking to you, have a complaint going.
Definitely.
Yeah, I wanted to have Mr. Bastamante so much, and the Shagwana is right.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. You too.
Right. Let's see. First message on the board. Doc, do you have anything for parasites?
Yeah, we have a lot of things for parasites. Santulan is something I usually recommend for everyone. That tends to work. If you're really badly off, if you have like for example, you're dealing with things like so we're dealing with worms now. So which fall because pathogens are either bacteria, virus, fungus, protozoa, or worms. So there are different types of worms that you could be infected with, and depending on the severity of these particular type of worms, then we may have to use something a little more stronger or something that is specifically designed to remove those without complications. Because I don't know, for example, there are different types of worms. You have like fluke worms, you have tapeworms, and if you have ever seen the length of some of these things, they are some length, could either run anywhere between maybe 1 feet to maybe even 6 feet. The typical problem with those, when they're that long, they wrap up in your intestines and all these type of things. I mean, God forbid if you have something like that. But there actually have been instances where persons have that. So there are a number of things that we carry for I'll use this. for parasites. So as I said, Santulan first, the mineral formula with the silver, that works well as well. That works good as well. Inflammation formula is actually very good. And those, could actually give you some help. As I said, if it's really more critical than that, so you try it and maybe you have issues, maybe with your skin or other things, and then we may have to use something a little stronger. I might have to change the combination, change the protocol, that type of thing. Okay?
Right. Let's take a quick call. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to everybody.
Hi, good morning, ma'am.
I'm trying to find out if Mr. Batson has anything for migraine headaches with aura.
Migraine headaches with aura. Yes, we do. We do. The thing is, but what is it that you did a CT scan or you did an MRI on the brain or something like that?
No, they're gone.
Oh, they're gone already? Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, we do, But the thing is, I often tell persons headaches. You have different types of headaches, right? So you have migraine headaches, you have cluster headaches. What are some of the others they have, boy? There are a few. But again, I remember when I was doing a program, one of the things I said from inception, and I often use that analogy, was the analogy with the mosquitoes and the stagnant water. And, I think everybody was dying with that in the sense that it was very simple to understand. So the same applies to headaches. The issue is not necessarily the problem that is in front of you, the symptomology. Look, even if we could go a little step further, if we look at mental illness or issues that persons may have, so addiction, so someone may have alcohol addiction, different types of substance addiction, persons may have addictions associated with a number of different types of addiction, depression, anxiety problems. A lot of the times, those are the symptomology of a greater problem. And the greater problem most of the time could be tracked from one's childhood, whether you have trauma, whether it was abuse, whether it was not growing up in a home that, emotions were shown, especially in the case of men, because we know when mental illness is concerned with men, they toss us aside. And they think that once you're a man, you're just supposed to man up everything, and you're not supposed to discuss your feelings. If you're a man and you're depressed and you have anxiety, who are you going to tell that? And that's quite sad. But the thing is, the point I'm making is a lot of those things are just the symptomology of a greater problem, and that's something you always need to keep in mind. So sometimes even behavioral issues are not necessarily what is before you as the symptomology. Similarly with headaches. So the headache is not your problem. The problem is the root cause of the headaches. And I've found with individuals, 99.9% of the time, it's a combination of things. Poor hydration, so they don't drink enough water. Mineral deficiency, so they may have problems with magnesium, sodium, potassium. Problems with blood flow to the brain, so you may have some sort of physiological interference where you do not have sufficient blood flow going to the brain, whether it is hardening of blood vessels, some sort of issue associated with blocked arteries or blocked blood vessels that actually lead to the brain. But again, you have to deal with the root cause of the problem. So yes, we do have products to address that. And of course, a protocol could always be designed to correct that situation. Let me say, we all, pretty intelligent people, we understand what protocols are. The thing is, there's a reason why a protocol is always given. Because, some of us, we have a issue with routines. We need to work, because you can always better your best. As individuals, nobody is perfect. You always need to work on certain things. The fortunate thing is, or sometimes the unfortunate thing, is that we're not honest with ourselves to really admit what our issues may be. The old people ever saying, monkey don't see the tail, right? So sometimes it would take someone else, some constructive criticism, to tell us, listen to me, you need to work on this. So your diet needs adjusting. Just recently I was telling someone, we have become so desensitized and so misinformed and so ignorant that a lot of times when people go to eat well and take care of themselves, you put up this thing, I'm on a diet. So that really is supposed to be your routine and not necessarily something that is, isolated or something that is apart from the norm, because it means your norm is unhealthy, which is a bad thing. Because if you have to say, well, okay, I'm going on a diet, I'm not having sugar, I'm not eating fried foods, I'm going to start to exercise more, it means, so this diet is not your norm, and that's a bad thing. So you need to try and make what we call a diet the norm. You know, the old people have a saying, what is good for the sick is better for the well, right? So those numbers, again, you could give us a call on 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That's 314-9975. Mr. Savage, good morning, sir. Ms. Shanti Ramrup, good morning. Katie, good morning. Yes, Mr. Dominic, sir, you could go ahead.
All right, so we have a voice note. Let's get that thing quickly.
Pleasant good morning to you, Dr. Batson. Can you tell me if the black Jamaican castor oil, when heated, can be applied to the stomach area? And if yes, can you tell me what use or benefit would that be? Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Yes, it can be applied to the in fact, you could apply that to any part of your body. I mean, it's normally used in people's hair. I put it in my hair. But as I said, it is what it does, it is a lymphatic. It is very good at dealing with inflammatory response in the body. It is a master for the lymphatic system. And I have seen clients that I have worked with that came to me, or came to us rather, with specific growths and issues. And then when they did the MRIs, so we had an MRI before to compare. When we compared it to the new MRIs, which were done like 6 months, a year afterwards, there was a significant reduction in some cases. They did not have any nodules, any fibroids again. So you have to understand with the castor oil, yes, sir, the answer is that it can be applied to the stomach area. I have even recommended for men with their prostate, because what it does, it opens the body up to circulation and lymphatic drainage. And if you really understand the importance of, you could use the analogy with the mosquito and stagnant water. Mosquitoes, as far as I am aware, I don't know if I need to go and do some research. I said I need to go and check that. Next thing, there's some mosquito that they have that is live in other types of water. But as far as I know, off the top of my head, you know, don't hold me at ransom, mosquitoes, as far as I know, could only breed in stagnant water. They cannot breed in the sea. They cannot breed in water that is, because stagnant water is what? Water that is not oxygenated. It does not have sufficient oxygen. And oxygen, we know, after water, the most important need before water, is oxygen. Oxygen is very important, but oxygen to the cells. So that whole aspect of improving circulation in your testes, improving circulation, even in your private, in your penis, because of the application of that. Now you're heating it, and you're not going to heat it to burn yourself, right? And it would improve circulation in that area. Of course, improved circulation is going to reduce the likelihood of you developing a prostate situation, because increased prostate, or BPH, which is benign prostatic hyperplasia, is actually caused by lack of circulation in the prostate area. It is also caused by prostatitis, which is infection of the prostate. But how does your prostate become infected? It can only be infected if it is you have bacteria and pathogens that leave the intestines, and from the intestines it goes to the prostate. Which is why I always tell people, like, I always look at the example of Tobago. Tobago has one of the highest incidences of prostate cancer in the world. There was some years ago that a hospital came, a whole set of persons from a particular organization came in Tobago to specifically deal with men with prostate problems. Quite unfortunate, they cut out a lot of them, which of course, you all know I'm not pro-surgery. It's not like I'm anti-surgery, that's not the case. But you can't be cutting out, how are you going to take out my prostate? You're going to take out my whole seeds? Where's your rationale for that? Now, a lot of persons, if you leave it to reach the point where it's really bad, and the doctors has a point where they're not, and again, that's what we're dealing with emergency. But you can't tell me you have a high PSA and you think, and somebody watching me and telling me you're going to take out my prostate, you ought to be out of your mind. Not mine, that's the in writing. But I'm saying the reason why the issue is there is because for a number of things. And men, that is why I tell you, the cold water is not good for you. Do you know that cold water affects your erection? You know that? I bet so. I bet all of you will stop now, right? Yeah, it affects your erection. It affects your erection. It affects the size of. Take what I'm telling you. It is really, go and do some research. Read extensively. Once you're a reader, and you will understand why cold water. Always remember that there are certain things that affect the body in a positive and a negative light. pH, which is percentage hydrogen. We know what pH is, right? So you have a pH scale. The pH scale runs from 0 to 40. 7 is in the middle, that's neutral. Anything above 7 is alkaline. Anything below 7 is acidic. The pH of your stomach at a particular point in time is a pH of 2, which is highly acidic. And that is when hydrochloric acid is produced for the purpose of digestion. But hydrochloric acid doesn't stay in your stomach. You'd have been dead already. It has to be produced at a particular period in time to facilitate a particular aspect of digestion. And once that is done, it is no longer there, right? But the pH of your mouth is supposed to be what? 6.4, which is acidic. The pH of your mouth can be 7.8. If the pH of your mouth is 7.8, you will have halitosis. You'll have bad breath. Your mouth will start to smell because the pathogen, the physiological aspect of that environment or that particular aspect of the body, the mouth operates optimally at that pH. The pH of blood is supposed to be what? 7.3. The pH of oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood is slightly off. I believe oxygenated blood has a pH of 7.3 and deoxygenated blood has a pH. No, deoxygenated blood has a pH, I think 7.3, and oxygenated blood has a pH which is slightly higher, obviously. Or more alkaline, it is 7.34, somewhere around. So just off by a few, not off, but just a little higher. But the point is, if that pH shifts, that's why people just end up with things like lactic acidosis. That's why people end up with things like gout, which is excess uric acid. And vegetarians can actually get gout because of sugar. Gout is not only red meat, excess sugar also can cause serious issues with gout. So temperature is vitally important to the body, internally especially. Cold can be applied externally. If it is you strain, you have a hamstring injury, they give you an ice pack or something like that. That has a specific mechanism or result in which it deals with the muscles, right? But you can't be watching a big hardback man and telling people you can't stop drinking cold water. Well, you drink your cold water, and when you have erectile dysfunction and you can't function properly, don't complain and quarrel with anybody because you put yourself there. Right? I know us men tend to be very, very hardened. All right? So don't drink it. Stop it. Stop it. Try and introduce some hot teas into your diet. I told someone recently, and this was actually a testimony we got. A client came to us and I'd introduced, was a female. I introduced her to tea. So I said, listen to me, I want you to include in your routine 2 cups of hot tea on a daily basis. As hot as you could tolerate, don't want to burn up your tongue. And do that consistently for a month and tell me what happens. Take your weight before, take your weight. You will lose weight. Your energy level is going to be better. You think all them Chinese drinking tea because they just need to drink tea? There's a reason why they belong to an ethnicity of people that has, how to put it, let me sure I put this on it because somebody might politicize the way I put it. In terms of their lifestyle, they're the least sick in terms of ethnicity. If you were to look at persons, they enjoy some of the best health. Look at the places like Singapore, China, Malaysia. The average life expectancy of, I think it's Korea or Japan, females is 84 years, males is 82. You can imagine that? You can imagine you have an average life expectancy of 82 and 84 years. Now come to the Western world. Come to Trinidad. We don't have that here, especially now. Some people life expectancy, some always 40, 35. And I'm not saying that to be abusive or insult anybody, but it's a fact. How many persons do you know that has lost their life and they not, well, from not accident or some violent issue or something like that, but a heart attack, problems with asthma. Young people stroke it young, and it's getting younger and younger because the World Health Organization at some point in time said that this is the first generation in human history that parents will bury their children. And we've seen it. 36, 35, 30. Cancer more prevalent than ever. And people, of course, why? Simply because, one, I mean, we're under a lot of stress, but the food that you eat, I was discussing the importance of, Ms. Pamela Moses, good morning, my dear. You said, okay, about a testimony. Okay, I don't know where that comment was before though, but okay, I'll try and see if I find it. Yeah, what I was saying, as it relates to supplementation. So the person was saying that they don't take vitamins and they don't take supplements because, let's say, the vitamin C, you could get sufficient vitamin C from oranges. Say, okay. Do you know what is the daily recommended servings of fruits and vegetables that you're supposed to have? You have any idea? Some schools of thought say 5 to 7 servings. Now, we're not counting other things like your carbohydrates and that. So you realize a lot of us, in order to get the nutrient requirement that we have, practically, you cannot get it. You cannot get it, and that's why supplementation is important. Now, I'm not saying that you just go and buy things and just start to take it like a madman or a mad woman. However, there is validity and serious research as it relates to supplementation and what it does for the body. And I am a testimony of that in various aspects of my health throughout my life as it relates to improving certain aspects of the body. Very, very important. Yeah, Carol can really say 5. Yeah, they tell you anywhere between about 5 to 7. That's why we reach to understand that nutrient-dense foods, which are foods that are high in nutrient components, like for example, wheatgrass, they tell you 1 ounce of wheatgrass is equivalent to fruits and vegetables, about 23 pounds of fruits and vegetables. So 1 pound as compared to 23 pounds. And that's why when you talk about nutrition, a lot of people out there, unfortunately, even medical doctors, no fault of their own because they didn't do anything about nutrition. Even the nutritionists that they have, then people and them need to go back to school because they're woefully ill-equipped to deal with people as it relates to nutrition. I'm going to call some things for you and tell me if you ever heard about them. And that's just to give you an example. Have you ever heard about something called pycnogenol? I am sure no. Have you ever heard about Bacopa? I am sure no. Have you looked vitamin D3? A lot of you pre-COVID didn't know anything about vitamin D3. I'm sure. How many of us 10 years ago knew about zinc? Very few. How many persons knew about the importance of omegas? It's only because a particular brand, you know, they push omega in your face, which was a good thing. I was so glad that particular brand came about because at least it made persons aware of how important omegas are. Now, there are people who go with the argument that you could use greens and you'll get omegas in the greens because at the end of the day, the fish, because they eat the algae in the ocean, in the sea, that's the reason why they're able to produce the omega-369, which is correct, yes. However, you have to understand that you get omega-369 from different things. And then, of course, people tell you, well, when you're taking a supplement, you should take only omega-3 and not 369 because you get 6 and 9 from your food. No, that is sort of correct, but it's not totally correct. Simply because of how important omegas are for the diet. You know what omegas do for you? Omegas help to maintain a number of, it maintains the integrity of the cells, especially even cholesterol as well. But people talk about high cholesterol, you have high cholesterol, you have cholesterol. Cholesterol is a natural thing in the body that is important for proper cellular function. Proper cholesterol levels and not depleted cholesterol levels affect men in terms of male function, sexual function. They protect those sheets on the nerve that are important or responsible for proper nerve function. So if you're not getting that, it means you're in serious problems. Serious problems. So that's something that you need to pay attention to. So I'm just using that analogy to help you. Silver, colloidal silver. There are still people who don't know anything about colloidal silver, and that is quite sad. Poor you. Poor you. You know how badly off you are. If that used to kill people, I dead a long time. I drink it at 20 years now. So I have 20 years of silver. Well, I can't say that because silver takes 8 hours to exit the body. Yeah? If you do, read it. How many of you know about black seed oil? I'm sure very few, unless maybe you're a Muslim. Very important. The scientific name for that is Nigella sativia. When you look at the research on Nigella sativia, extensive. So I'm just saying that to say that when it comes to nutrition, a lot of the times we think we know and we really don't know. And that is why we have so many persons who are sick now, because your problem is that you're so deficient in a lot of minerals and vitamins, antioxidants. There are some people walking around there. When we do a blood analysis on you, like just this week, I did when I reviewed rather a blood analysis for a client. And one of the things I looked at was the what we call oxidative stress. So oxidative stress is free radical damage. So chronologically, on your birth paper, they might be telling you on your ID card, your driver's permit, your passport, they might be telling you you're 40 or 45, you know. But biologically, you're 100 or 125. And let me tell you something, that is quite possible, especially in cancer patients, because cancer has to get an environment that is conducive for its survival. Always remember that sickness, any type of sickness and disease in the body has to have an environment that is conducive to the body. Someone asked, what is the strength of silver you use? I use anything between, I use 10 to maybe 50 parts per million. The research that was done on 10 parts per million. So for every 10 parts of silver, you have, for every million parts of water, my apology, you have 10 parts of silver. And that is what the research was done on, for things like a number of different issues in the body. It works. At Batson Associates, we never have enough of that. And I am the type of person, I recommend what I use. The only products I do use at Batson Associates is the product specifically for women and the one that maybe specifically in terms of low-end blood sugar, dealing with certain things, that type of thing. Right? Ms. Pauline McKenna, Dr. Batson, please let us know how to take the silver. The label states 3 tablespoons per day. Is it before or after meals? Now, keep in mind, you would read on your labels, use 1 after meal or use 1 tablespoon, 3 tablespoons, or as recommended by a healthcare practitioner. So it means a lot of the times the bottle may have the maintenance dose, but you may need a therapeutic dose. It's just like if, let's say, you have to go and do surgery. So you have a surgery that is really an important surgery and you need to do the surgery, but your blood count is low. But you have to do the surgery at a particular place. There are things that you would be given added dosages, or dosage rather, like let's say there's the injectables, for example, to build your blood count that is used in Western medicine. So those the doctor might tell you, listen to me, because we have to do surgery on you, you may have to use 1 every day for 2 weeks. And then after that, subsequent to the surgery, you might have to use 1 a month. But the reason why you were given the 1 every day for the 2 weeks is because you needed a therapeutic dose and not a maintenance dose. Those 2 words, of course, are significantly different. Therapeutic as opposed to maintenance. 2 completely different things. So it's vitally important that so as it relates to maintenance dose, Ms. McKenna, your maintenance dose is 2 to 3 tablespoons per day, and you put it in about 8 ounces of water, and you can drink it. Okay? Someone is asking here, is Santulan good for gut candida? Yes, it is. It's excellent, actually. Santulan, the alkagen water, that type of thing. Okay, Mr. Dominic, sir, back to you.
All right. So messages piling up here. All right. So good morning. Do magnets, magnetic footwear help with circulation issues?
Okay, yes, they actually do. Before I continue answering that, let me just run quick. Ms. Moses said, yes, Ms. Moses, I now see your message right here. Doc, I don't know what product I am using, but I realized before when I took a bath, my feet used to be white and dry. But now when I take a bath, I don't even have to cream my skin. Thank you. All right. Very good to hear that. Which product? The silver would have helped in that situation. The inflammation formula, man, I love that product so much. Inflammation formula and chlorophyll is like my go-to. Inflammation formula, chlorophyll, and silver. So much so I actually had done a mixture for some of the members of staff at Batson and Associates, because of course, you know, we have worked extensively. We always interacting with people. We following the regular protocol, but I didn't want anything to happen to any, of my staff members. So I did a particular mixture for them. I hope they drank all. Shakil is shaking his head. I don't know what I mean. Shakil, you drink all yours? Yeah, I know. A pleasant good morning to Miss Monica. A pleasant good morning. Because I think Miss Monica must still have it. And that bottle is supposed to finish. I'm supposed to mix the next one for them. Someone is asking, do we have balanced circulation? I believe we should have. I know for this week here, we have a lot of things coming in, guys. So I know, and this is not only our issue, but it's an issue all over the world right now as it relates to, because COVID changed the logistics of a lot of things. Yeah, it has. Remember that actually fumigate goods before it leave countries now. When we get stuff, sometimes those boxes smell it. I don't know what it is they spray this thing with. I was like, good God, this thing smells atrocious. But at the end of the day, they have to fumigate and sanitize. And so, the whole logistics of shipping has changed dramatically as regards to COVID. But of course, we're making sure we do what we need to do. Circulation IT, we know because we actually had an issue with that. But you guys going to get your tea, and whatever we have to do. We also have oolong tea, because someone is asking about oolong tea. Very good tea. I'm very brand specific. I try my best to ensure that the companies that I work with are some of the best. So a lot of people would say about Dr. Batson, I saw oolong tea for A price and your price is B price. I say, okay, good, no problem. But I know what it is I'm selling you. I could stand behind my product, right? So that's something that you need to keep close in mind. All right, let me just answer this before I go back to you, Dominic. Judy C. Paul, good morning, Dr. Batson. I brought 2 of the eye drops of cataract in the office, eye optics formula and MSN. Can you please tell me how to use it? Okay, so you have all 3 eye drops, right? So I bought 2 of the eye drops for cataracts, the eye optics formula and the MSN. Okay, well, what you would do in that case, what you could do in the eye optics formula and the MSM, you could use the eye optics formula, or the MSM, sorry, in the morning, 4 drops in both eyes. And 10 minutes after you use the eye optics formula, 2 drops in both eyes. And then the Sincera, which is the one for severe cataracts, you can use that in the night. And that's basically your protocol there. So I'll run it again for you. In the morning, the MSM would be 4 drops in each eye. 10 minutes after, make sure you shake all your bottles, right? That's very important. The eye optics would be 10 minutes after the MSM in the morning, and the Sincera, or the one for the severe cataract, you can use in the night, and that would be like about 2 or 3 drops in each eye. Okay? Ms. Marsha Joseph is saying, good morning. First time listening to your program. I am, previous positive COVID, who is presently after 4 months. I'm still experiencing shortness of breath, chest pains, headaches, and sometimes my legs are shaking. I am diabetic. I have fibroids. Whoa. Right, I'm diabetic and sometimes hypertensive. What can you suggest I take to do to alleviate this? Okay, yeah. Well, there are a number of things you could use. The inflammation formula is good. I would not necessarily recommend Santulan for someone who has had COVID, because I don't know how strong you may be. But as it relates, the thing is, what a lot of persons have to understand is that post-COVID, you can end up with, I can't remember the medical term for it, excuse me, but you can end up with a lot of serious symptomology, scarring of the lungs, problems breathing, problems with your heart, and that type of thing. So one of the things I told someone I need to do post-COVID protocols. But of course, me doing that now just going to add to my workload, which is already significantly high. But I will do it and find a way where you can actually come to the office and you could actually pick it up, that type of thing. We'll do the protocol for you. Because I'll tell you something. If you had COVID, make sure and watch yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Because the post-COVID situation can be very, very serious. And if you're not guided properly, you could end up in some problems, some serious problems where you have now long-term chronic issues associated with that. And that applies to anything. I remember when chikungunya was quite long COVID. That is what it is. Thank you so very much. That is the medical term for it, long COVID. You remember when we had chikungunya going around? You remember chikungunya? Then there was a time, and chikungunya basically debilitated a lot of it. Some people get chikungunya up to this day, they still have pain. simply because you did not address the problem thoroughly in its entirety. And that's one of the disadvantages. Again, I'm not criticizing. It is a point, and it's a valid point with Western medicine. Because most Western medical practitioners, what they will do, they'll give you some sort of painkiller and give you what? That's it. That's all it is, get. That's all. They don't tell you to use nothing else. So poor you, they had COVID. You ain't no better. And the possibility exists because we have a variant, all these variants to deal with. So you need to be very, very careful. You need to ensure that you eat well, that you have specific things in your diet. If you never hear about Batson Associates, you never use mineral formula with a colloidal silver in it, come and buy one. Stop drinking cold water, start using hot tea. If it is you don't have any money, I mean, we know the situation, finances, little bad thing with people, go and get ginger. Ginger is not $1,000. And you're taking a little piece of ginger, take about an inch of ginger, you grate it, you put it in a cup, excuse me, and you take anywhere between 8 to 12 to 16 ounces of hot water, you throw it on it, and you drink that. That's not costing you $1 million. You could do that every other day. But do not play stupid and say, well, I had COVID, and now you have long COVID. And I'm not showing anything for anyone here. I'm just telling you how serious this is. Because this is a situation that a lot of people negate. And say, well, you know, I had COVID and I'm good now. Listen to me. You know the devil you're dealing with. Take what I am telling you. I actually dealt with someone recently. And one of the things that we have realized in integrative medicine, let me make a very valid point to you, is that there are a lot of, you see, tuberculosis, bronchitis, asthma, sinusitis. I always tell people, I don't know what sinus is. When people tell me the sinus, raise eyes, look at it like this madness, they're talking to you. What is sinus? I don't have that problem. And I thank God for it, because I know there were points in time where I remember when I had the situation with my teeth recently, I had to remove the third molar, which is what we call the wisdom teeth. And I had some issues with it. It had gotten bad. No fault of my own. But had I been aware of a certain circumstance some years ago, I would have, had a procedure done, and that would have alleviated. And it would not have brought me to the situation where I was in. So in any case, I had to remove the teeth. But I remember dealing in my situation with that. One of the things, the discussion that I had with the dentist, is that he was saying, Dr. Batson, when we do what we need to do, you don't want to develop a dry socket. So if you don't know what a dry socket is, and this story there's a reason why I'm telling you this, so just listen. So a dry socket is if they remove any teeth from the mouth. Now, the teeth in the gum now, so the teeth has been removed, so the gum is going to be exposed. You have a big hole long in there. So what they're going to do, they're going to clean it out, and then depending on where they would have to cut to remove the teeth, especially if it is a situation where you had impacted molars. My molar wasn't impacted. So an impacted molar is when the teeth hasn't burst the gum thoroughly. And as a result of that, the molar could be in different positions. So it could be lying down, it could be thing, and it would actually damage other teeth. My own was not like that. It was just a simple thing they had to take it out. But the point I'm making is that, so the dentist did the stitch, and then they gave me a piece of gauze to bite down on for a long period of time. But the reason why I was given the gauze is so that it would develop a blood clot. Now, the reason why you wanted to develop a blood clot is so that the healing would take place, and that space will fill up with the necessary tissue over a period of time, right? If you develop a dry socket, it would mean that the hole is open, and it's now open to bacteria, pathogens, that type of thing. So here are the reasons for me telling you this. I remember dealing with a client at a point in time who had serious problems with lymph nodes in the neck that were inflamed, and they went to this professional. And one of the things the professional told them is that they need to remove the lymph nodes. I, of course, had a serious problem with that. I said, why would you remove lymph nodes, especially in key areas like that? So it's only tracking the history. I asked them, they say they don't do certain things. So in other words, the symptomology or the issue that they had, there wasn't a root cause. We were trying to figure out the root cause. You know what it has happened to that individual? That individual had a situation with a tooth infection some years ago. And that infection never went. So what I'm trying to help you to understand is that infections, a lot of the times, do not go. Pathogens, which are either bacteria, virus, or fungus, are very intelligent. When I tell you they're intelligent. Don't think pathogens lack. They move, how to put it, boy? Pathogens don't move simply by guess or by this thing, instinct. They don't move like that. They literally have some level of intelligence at which they operate. So when you're dealing with bacteria and virus and fungus, don't think for 1 minute you're superhuman. They have the ability to outsmart the human body or attempt to outsmart the human body. What makes it different is how strong one's natural immunity is. And that's a very serious thing. So there are a lot of us walking around here who, I don't know if you've ever heard about something known as a postnasal drip. A postnasal drip is a drip that you get that causes a dry cough. So you have this cough, you're only coughing, but you're not bringing up mucus. That is what we call a postnasal drip. And you get a postnasal drip where to the back of the throat, this dripping takes place. And because of this postnasal drip, you actually now have this dry cough. Postnasal drips are a perfect indication of when infections have not gone. So you could have infections, pathogens, bacteria, virus, fungus, protozoa, worms. And what they do is that the body, they say, okay, your immune system working good here. So we ain't really coming out. We ain't coming out to party. Them fellas, they go in and hide. So they hide in tissues. And let me tell you something. Pathogens can hide in tissue for years upon years upon years upon years upon years. Years. So when you have bronchitis and you have this problem, all these people who have problem with breathing, take what I'm telling you. You have an infection that has not got it there. It is there. But they're going to give you antibiotics. So you get augmentin, you get flagell, you get, what's the next one they give you, boy? I can't remember it off the top of my head. But they'll give you antibiotics. And then depending on how serious the infection is, you could get 1,000 antibiotics. And that's standing up like a man in there for you. You tell you, hey, I'm not moving. Simply because we have not dealt with the immune system. It is very, very important. That is why natural immunity is always important, even in this situation with COVID. Because we don't know what we're going to get. You see how much different variants we have? They have like about 10 variants already, you know. They have the Lambda variant, they have the Brazilian variant, they have this next one that they say we have gotten here. So I can't remember it off the top of my head, but they had a lot, and the thing is, we have more variants to get. So if you realize all we're going to get, how pathogens operate, they have the ability to change. Is the simple analogy in Trinidad. Or the simple analogy is this: if you, God forbid, bandit come, white is when people put down robbery and them kind of thing, they change the vehicle. You think they're stupid? Why did they change the clothes? Because they don't want to get caught. Because if you're looking for the bandit in the TIDA, they already send the TIDA, the Delta variant. Thank you very much. So you have different variants that you're going to get. But what it comes down to is your immune system. There's actually a study that was done in Israel recently. I was looking at it. They printed it in the New England Journal of Medicine. So it was printed just, I think, maybe about 2 weeks ago or something like that. One of the things, because Israel and Egypt have done some of the most extensive studies as it relates to the coronavirus thus far. But one of the things that they were saying is that when they looked at it, one of the aspects that they found is that natural immunity was vitally important in maintaining good health post-COVID and to avoid getting COVID. So vaccination or not, your natural immunity is fundamentally important. Even in, that is what it was, in vaccinated people, they were saying. So even when you are vaccinated, you need to ensure that you take care of yourself, because the natural immunity is vitally important in helping you maintain good health all around, not only with COVID-19, but in general. So always remember that. So that has to do with what you eat, what you drink, and those type of things. Very, very important. So we're just going to take a 5-minute break, and I'm going to continue with you, Mr. Dominic. Just give me 5 minutes, sir, and I will be back with you.
No problem whatsoever. From my enemies till all my fears is gone. You are listening to the program Overcoming Health Issues Naturally, with friends of Batsons and Associates. send us your voice notes to 333-9950. When he gets back, we will take some of those messages today. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love has called my name. I've been born again to a family. Blood flows through my veins. I'm no longer a slave. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave. I am a child of God.
That's very, very composition.
I am surrounded by the arms of the Father. I am surrounded. Arms of deliverance. We've been liberated from our bondage. We're the sons and the daughters. Let us sing our freedom. You rescued me out of sand and sea. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. You drowned my fears in perfect love. You rescued me out of stand and said, I am a child of God. Yes, I am. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. Yes, I am. I am a child of God. Born radiant. This is Sky 99.5 FM. And we're in the midst of our program, Overcoming Health Issues Naturally. Doc, you back?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm back.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Great.
So, yeah. So, Over to you. So if you have any questions, anyone on the phone line, let me know.
Yes, my friend. Listen, we have a number of messages here, and I don't want to get any kind of arguments afterwards. Why are you not taking the messages? Why are you not taking the calls?
Did they send for you?
What? Listen to me, man. Always. And then, like last week, I had a number of persons. So nobody said it was a pre-recorded. I said, excuse. I said, only ready to listen. But all right, no problem. No problem.
Okay, my sincerest apology.
No problem, my friend. I try my best. I'm not taking on any stress. The amount of time you talk about stress today, I realize that nope, this will not be the thing that kills me.
True. I agree.
All right, so let's get back into some messages, my friends. All right, first up, you have a voice note.
Good morning, Dominic. Good morning, Dr. Batson. I have a quick question. So my mom has been diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. So she's losing a lot of weight. She already is skinny. So she's losing a lot of weight. And I heard you saying that, CMOS can be something that can be used to help that. But I've also read that depends on what type of thyroid disease you have, that CMOS might not be so good to you. So can you give me some clarification on that, please? Thank you.
Okay. I have heard that as well, but I disagree, and I'll tell you why. Based on my personal experience with dealing with clients, I know you have to be careful with things like cruciferous vegetables. So cruciferous vegetables would be things like cauliflower, pak choy, those type of things, right? So there's a particular ingredient in that. If you have a thyroid problem, it will cause issues. Why I find CMOS generally in all instances with thyroid, it is going to help. It's simply because of the nutrient profile of CMOS. CMOS has about 96 or something different minerals in it, manganese, magnesium. So because it is a nutrient-dense food that is so nutrient-dense but also balanced in its combination, it's very difficult for that to throw off your thyroid. Very, very, very difficult. I mean, even if in the case of someone who has hyperthyroidism, I cannot see that presenting a problem based on the fact that it's going to assist the body in balancing a number of different aspects because of its ingredient profile being so varied. In terms of 90, I could always do check for you guys. I can't remember all the advantages of it as it relates to the ingredient profile, but I know definitely it is something that would help, definitely, in that case. All right.
Next up, all right. Good morning, Dr. Batson. What will cause numbness to the soles of the feet? The person says that they do not have sugar, pressure, nor any other underlying sickness. They've done 2 x-rays and they've come up with nothing, but they've been given painkillers because it also comes with pain.
Okay, so they're having problems. A pleasant good morning to Ms. Islin Kotu. I hope I pronounce your name properly. Thank you so much for that. So Ms. Jessica Clark, good morning. So the person saying they're having burning under their feet or pins and needles? What is it?
Numbness, that's all it's saying.
Okay, so numbness. And they're not diabetic, they don't have any hypertension.
Correct.
Okay, well, I wonder how much they weigh. Possibility exists. That seems to me to be poor circulation. Now, what is causing the poor circulation? We would have to determine. I don't know. One of the things you need to look at is your weight. I don't know how much you weigh. But if you have a situation where you could be weighing a bit more than you should be, that could be a contributing factor where it could actually interfere with systemic circulation, which is circulation below the heart. I don't know if you have done a Doppler. Doppler is an ultrasound of your legs to look at the veins and in terms of look at the venous sufficiency and that type of thing. There are some people who may be diagnosed with something known as venous insufficiency or some situation where you do not have proper blood flow in the legs, and that could be a contributing factor. So I would work on circulation from that particular aspect. So I would recommend You use, if you are hydrated properly, that's the next thing, dehydration. Check your water as well. Always remember the rule for water is your body weight divided by 2 in ounces minimally, and you should have been doing that for the past 3 months, for the least. That's very important. So apart from those other factors, you could look at things like the Santulan, the Alkagen water, the silver, the inflammation formula, those type of things. All right. So those telephone numbers, again, you can give us a call on 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That's 314-9975. And our locations, we're located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That is Money Talks building in Montrose, Chaguanas. We're also on the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Debe, as well as Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. And Tobago is the Triangle building in Scarborough, Tobago. I am supposed to be in Tobago, God's willing, this week. So you can get the information from the office where that is concerned. And we will be in touch with you guys. Let me just take a quick question here. Someone is saying, someone is asking about the inflammation formula. Well, the inflammation formula just does that. It helps with inflammatory response. In fact, we actually there's a product we carry called Nerve Restore. Now, watch that product is a boss product. Right? If you find you don't sleep properly, if you find, you're not, when you get up, it's like, oh God, I need 10 hours again. That's a product that you need to get. Keep in mind, you need to do a cleanse with your sample and your water, that type of thing. But you wouldn't be disappointed. You wouldn't be disappointed at all. It's called Nerve Restore. And we will get your Santulan and all the other things that we have for you guys. Give us by this week. They have everything written down, so they're going to ensure that they call you. We are seriously working on getting that situation rectified so that we can have it here. Okay? So those telephone numbers again, as I said, 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That's 314-9975. And you can also give us a call. We have our delivery service available, so you can also get information regarding that. Yes, Mr. Dominic, sir.
All right, next one.
Hello, good morning, Dr. Batson. Always listen to your program. Just wanted to ask a question. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. I just wanted to find out if someone has suffered from the coronavirus and, months after they're still getting short breaths and pain in the chest area. What could be used to help with that? Because all they prescribed in the hospital was Panadol for the pain, and the Panadol not really helping really. So I want to find out if you have products or protocols that they could follow to help deal with that situation. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, definitely we do. Definitely we do. Because again, I often tell persons that once you are dealing, excuse me, and that's why I made reference to chikungunya. Once you're dealing with pathogens and bacteria, virus, fungus, whatever the case may be, and they were there, they can leave certain circumstances or certain situations or leave the body in a particular condition. And with COVID is the one that we're seeing with this long COVID situation, with the short breath and that type of thing. As regards to protocol, definitely. The lung tea is one. There's a tea that we carry for the lungs. The mineral formula, that's a boss product with that colloidal silver in it. That helps significantly. The inflammation formula, lungs tea, I would recommend Optimizer, because Optimizer is a high-level antioxidant. It also is an adaptogen or have adaptogen. So those are substances that actually helps the body deal with stress. It also has, you can also use rather this thing. We call it the advanced chlorophyll, sorry, that's it. So you could actually, there's a way that we would let you know in the protocol to use it, and that is going to help. The long tea, I said, is also very good. I actually had persons with asthma who used that long tea, and they got some very, very good results with it. So that's something that you can do.
Right. So next up, someone is asking how or what can be used to get rid of cataracts?
Okay, so cataracts are mineral buildup on the lens of your eyes. We have eye drops for cataract. There are specific supplementation that you would use for cataract because cataract is a high indication of oxidation or oxidative stress on the lens of the eye. So IT is going to help. The Sincera eye drop is going to help. If your cataract is a little mini cataract, small cataract, you can use eye optics formula, which helps with all eye problems and the MSM. But if the cataract is a really advanced cataract, then you're going to have to use the MSM and the Sincera or the cataract eye drop. Okay, so that's something that you could actually use there. Yes, Dominic, so you can go ahead.
All right, next up on the board, don't forget, my friends, we're also taking your calls at 625-2759, 625-2759, or 624-7729. All right, Doc, someone is asking, what is your view on taking pantoprazole tablets for acid reflux, and also what is the maximum amount of vitamin C that the human body needs daily?
Okay, that particular medication you just mentioned again. Of course, my aspect with that is I often tell persons, deal with the root cause of the problem. If you have an acid reflux situation, if you have been diagnosed with GERD, which is an acronym for gastrointestinal reflux disease, it means that you need to deal with the root cause of the problem. You have a serious issue. It could be a hiatus hernia. A hiatus hernia is when there is an opening, and as a result of that, the esophagus sphincter, which is a door that closes off the esophagus to the stomach, remains slightly open or slightly ajar, and as a result of that, acid regurgitates from the stomach and comes up into the esophagus and come up in your throat and have a feeling like if you want to die, right? Acid blockers temporarily would help, but long term, you need to work on that situation. So I would recommend, there's a product we carry at Batson & Associates called Digestive Restore. We also have Digestive Balance. Those are two products that work quite well. There's also a gastro tea that we have got. Now, we got a lot of that because one of the issues, without giving out too much of our business, is that they had a mix-up, and then when those things came here, we had a next issue to deal with. Right? Normal stress, but we're going to get it done. So those of you with the, so as I say, the gastro tea could help. The digestive balance, digestive enzymes can also help as well in that situation. So you want to not deal with the mosquito, but you want to deal with the stagnant water. Get rid of the stagnant water. And then the last thing was the vitamin C question. I tell persons you could use at least maybe about 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C for the day. Average. If you're dealing with serious issues, if you're dealing with people with cancer and those different types of things, then I'm going to have to adjust that protocol. But I'm going to have to get additional information in making that adjustment. Because I've dealt with persons and I've given them up to 5,000, 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C for the day. But they had specific issues they were dealing with, like severe autoimmune conditions and that type of thing. But I didn't give them it immediately. There has to be what we call a loading phase and different things. So it depends on the individual, but generally everyone, 2,000 milligrams. Your children, 1,000 milligrams. Once they do not have any issues with the bowels, because what you find, some persons in the beginning aspect of using vitamin C supplementation, they get loose bowels. So, but with 2,000 milligrams, well, 1,000 for children, 2,000 milligrams minimal for adults, you may not necessarily have a situation like that. If you're a diabetic, I recommend you try and see if you could go up to about 3,000 milligrams. It will help you significantly. There's a particular one that we have coming out in very short season, in about the next month, which is an advanced C that we had before, but we actually improved that formula now to give you an even better product. So, that's going to have some good results, because the one that we had before, we had exceptional results with that. Okay.
Hi, good morning, Dr. Batson. I would like to find out what you can do for swollen tonsils, and it is paining my niece very bad. She is just 8 years old. Well, the mother took her to the hospital this morning, so I don't know what is the outcome yet, but it is paining her so much. She real crying. So I would like to know what can we use to do about that.
Okay, no problem. Well, the thing is, your tonsils is one of the first lines of defense in your body, right? So your tonsils would trap incoming pathogen, bacteria, virus, that type of thing in the body, and it would keep it there so that it doesn't get in to go into other systems, to primarily be ingested into the body. So I am not an advocate of removing tonsils. I'm not saying that that is the case. So what they could have done is give us some warm salt water to gargle, and that will help in some extent. And then long term, you're looking at I don't know if it's a frequent problem where she always has an inflamed tonsils. It means you'll need to look at something. Could be something in the diet, could be something in the air. Maybe if you have air condition, the air condition will need cleaning. I don't know if you have pets. So if you have dog, cats, you need to pay attention to that because there's some reason why they're having a frequent infection, right? Long term, you're looking at things like your mineral formula with the colloidal silver. You're looking at inflammation formula. Try and let them stay away from cold water, even at that age. And I don't know when was the last time a detox was done, but those are some of the things that you could pay attention to where that is concerned. Let me just answer this question here quickly. Yeah, Miss Clark is saying, good morning. My daughter gets pain in her womb area approximately 2 weeks after her period, but none during the period. Any thoughts? No cancer detected by scan. No, they have some sort of hormonal imbalance. Anytime a female has a very painful menstrual cycle, the thing is, some of y'all women get accustomed to your pain, you go take a tablet and you go away. You know? But the thing is, once you get in pain, you should get some discomfort because we know with a menstrual cycle, it's the hormonal system. You might find your breasts a little tender, a little enlarged, a little sensitive. You might find situations associated with where you have a little cramps and that type of thing, some back pain. But if it reaches the point where it is so severe that you have to be taking painkillers and that type of thing, no, something wrong with you. Something is definitely wrong with you. There's a product we carry at Batson & Associates called Cyst and Fibroid Formula. Big product. Very, very good, very well received, a lot of excellent. We actually have that product now in glass bottles. The supplier, when we bring them in, they're no longer doing plastic bottles again, so that is in glass bottle. And the objective is that overall, after a period of time, all those products that we carry, including the chlorophyll, the advanced chlorophyll, because inflammation formula is already in a glass bottle, but the synergy, the advanced chlorophyll, and the cyst and fibroid formula going to be glass bottles all the way. And the reason for that is not because the integrity, but that's just the type of person I am. You know, we always look at better and our best. The plastics that were used were the better quality, because you know we have different aspects of plastics, right? But still, I wanted glass bottles specifically for those products. All right, so that's something to look forward to. And again, of course, those are going to be bigger, better quality product, that type of thing. So more things to look forward to. A pleasant, good morning to Miss Cheryl Snell, Monet Warren, Miss Leslie Ann, good morning. Vanessa Alfonso, she asked, is that okay? So most likely there was a previous question before. I'm going to have to look. Okay. I also bought, okay, right. So just give me a minute here. Oh, so Ms. Alfonso asked, can I use MSM eye drops by itself? Yes, you can. You can use it. It also helps with cataract. It's very good for glaucoma as well, together with the eye optics formula. The only time, if it is you have the cataract is not severe as severe it is on 2. Okay, right. So yes, you could use the MSM and the eye optics, and that would work. It's only for the severe cataracts that we recommend the other eye drop that we have. And we have so many testimonies with that eye optics formula. That's an amazing eye product. So many persons have gotten such excellent results with that product as it relates to a number of issues, as it relates to things like cataracts, glaucoma, detached retina, all those issues. All right, Mr. Dominic, back to you, sir.
All right, let's take this call. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm calling on behalf of a family member who has just recently started
Whoa.
To start with that. After that was finished, about 2 weeks after, she came home and started just crying all the time, not wanting to take care of herself. They took tests on the brain. One doctor said they found some calcium something up in the brain up there. They eventually admitted her to hospital, the mental hospital, for 1 day recently, and they sent her back home. I suppose to kind of connect her to start taking her to clinic. I don't know if there's anything as it's in the early stage right now, but she is basically not doing anything, just sitting quiet, a lot of crying. And as I say, you have to force her to eat, you have to force her to take care of herself and all that kind of stuff. And this is just all of it. I don't know when it started, probably wasn't paying much attention, but this is the rapidity of how it happened, from her falling down and missing her flight one time, and then boom, from that stage, it's just run into the stage right now where it is. So I don't know if there's any help at this early stage that we can get working on.
Okay. Okay. Hello?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay, so let me just make sure I get you correct. You said initially she fell down. That was the first thing that happened? Or
Yeah, it was one of the initial scenarios where she fell. She got up from the bed one morning.
right.
And fell. And there was nothing in the way that threw her down. She just fell. Didn't know why she fell. I think she just bounced some part of her head or something.
Her head or something like that. But is she on any medication for anything?
Huh?
Is she on any medication? Does she have any hypertension, diabetes, anything like that?
No, none that I know of.
And how young is the person?
She's suffering from a little bit of pre-diabetes, I think. Yeah.
How old is the person?
She's probably in her 60s, somewhere about there.
And you said they did an MRI, and in the MRI they said that they seen calcium in the brain?
They said it's calcium buildup that apparently they said they don't think is responsible for her at this rapid, as I say, it happened so rapid.
Right.
Yes, and she's still she's behaving as if she's quiet. I don't think she's getting any outbursts and stuff like that, but it's the constant crying. Everything you ask her to do, it's a struggle. She's like not one. She starts to cry at everything.
At everything. Okay. So here what I am thinking there. Now the thing is, it's obvious for her to fall long, in the first place, it has to be an indication of something with the brain where the balance was affected. So most likely it means that she's not getting proper blood flow to the brain. When you normally look at persons who suffer from vascular dementia and people who suffer from Alzheimer's, that usually what has been experienced are usually early signs of those things, either vascular dementia, Alzheimer's. If the MRI is saying, or CT, whichever was done, is saying that they're seeing calcium in the brain, usually people who have atherosclerosis, which is hardening of blood vessels, which in the brain, those are the persons who end up with Alzheimer's, vascular dementia. Because remember, once you're having calcification of blood vessels, depending on the part of the brain it is in, it is going to affect circulation, it's going to affect the nerves, and hence it's going to affect any sort of messages as it relates to, sight and balance and that type of thing. The crying aspect, it could also be interfere with parts of the brain that affects things like depression and anxiety. Because in the case of severe depression, especially with women who suffer from PMS, which is postmenopausal syndrome, you find that those are the symptomology that they experience. They don't want to take care of themselves, they don't want to bathe, they don't want to do anything. And that is usually attributed to early issues associated with things like depression, postmenopausal syndrome, that kind of thing. So I would say overall is a matter of the brain not getting sufficient blood flow, and as a result of that, various aspects of the brain is now being affected. The good thing about it, I believe it's still early, that help could actually be, the individual can get help. It's just a matter of addressing the root cause of the problem. So looking at improving circulation in the brain, looking at dealing with different deficiencies, because that individual would have deficiency. I don't know what the hydration is in the body as well. That's something we also would need to
That's
pay.
another thing I'm glad because it's a struggle to get her
to drink water. Yeah. She doesn't drink water. And you usually find people who have, as I said, those symptomology is usually associated. Again, with the analogy, we're not dealing with the mosquitoes. All those are the mosquitoes. What we need to do is deal with the root cause. And circulation in the brain, hydration is very important for that. Very, very important. But the spontaneous crying, just like that is a combination of not only poor circulation, but to the point where it is actually affecting the endocrine system, the hormonal system as well. But help could be rendered. That person could get help. I wouldn't wait until too long though, but because, yeah. Is which area the person is from?
She's actually in the Chicago's area.
But what I could do, because I have upcoming 15 days, which I have done some already, because I had a 15 day in St. James, which was, my 15 day was when? Monday, was it, by? I have one coming up, not this week here, but next week I'm supposed to have a 15 day in Shogunas as well as St. James. So call the office and just let them know. And I'll see if I could, I will fit them in. I'll fit them in. Because that's a serious situation. That
you call it a what day?
We call it a 15 day or a makeup day, which is a day that where if I'm not going to Tobago or whatever the case may be, or I'm not doing any lectures or anything like that, I would come in office and work. So it's not a day that I have scheduled. So we normally bring up patients who we would have, or if we have emergency, we will fit them in and that type of thing.
Okay, so you want me to call and just let them know that a day like that to kind of fit her in?
Yes, to fit her in for that day. Tell them you spoke with me. And give them the information, although I could be opening up myself here for licks because 10,000 people could call and say the same thing. But I would know. I would know based on the on what we discussed.
Okay.
All right?
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Batson.
You're welcome, ma'am. Take care.
All right. Paula, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. Dr. Batson tried to answer my question, but he didn't quite get it right, and I'm calling from New York, and this is like such a problem for experiencing the pain, not when she's having the period. She's not getting period pain. It's 2 weeks after the period, then she gets severe pain. The whole period.
And that happens. And that happens every time she has her period?
Every single period.
So she did. So is it that she did?
After.
So is it that she did an abdominal?
The womb doctor, the what do you call it?
Gynecologist, obstetrician, right? So tell me something. So they did an abdominal pelvic ultrasound?
Yes.
And the ultrasound didn't show any fibroids, polycystic ovaries, adenomyosis, nothing like that?
No.
Does she have a problem with constipation?
Not sure.
I feel so.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, she has constipation. That's a gut problem. That she has problem. What she's going to have to do, she has to look at her water intake. Again, the same rule, your body weight divided by 2 ounces. And let her go and get a bottle of olive oil. And let her drink a tablespoon of olive oil every day. And she's doing that consistently for a month.
Okay.
And I know you're not here, so I will try, because as regards, of course, we started shipping out, and then I'll make some other recommendations. But that is not the woman. That is the gastrointestinal system. Something is wrong there. Something is wrong there. It could be our underlying, it could be fecal loading. But the thing is, if she had fecal loading in the ultrasound, they would have seen it. But it's definitely a gastrointestinal problem.
Okay.
All right. So I know you always message us and that type of thing. So at least the telephone number, the 314-997-5 number, just send a WhatsApp to that number, 1868. And I will let you know apart from that, in terms of what we would do to send what we need to send for.
All right, much appreciated. You have a wonderful day. I'm not seeing Olive.
I know, maybe she know you on today, so she must be hiding.
All right, this shift system is okay. She might have
exactly. You working? She working? She working the next shift.
All right. You have a wonderful weekend.
You too, my dear. Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right. All right. So we get back to the board. Doc, someone is asking, do you know when you'll get the inflammation formula and optimizer? They've been trying to get both at the DB clinic and at the DB office, and they've been saying they don't have any. I've started treatments and can't continue because the products are unavailable. Please help.
Okay, well, that they're supposed to have by now, because I know they got products on Saturday. So I will let Miss Roma, or you could always message, and I will let Davey office call you. But they have gotten as well. They have gotten. All right, at least those two products, I'm sure that they would have gotten. All right. So let me just answer this question quickly here. Ms. Vanderpool is asking, Doc, anything for injured cornea instead of surgery? Yeah, I would. If someone has an injured cornea, I would go the way of non-invasive first. So you're looking at eye drops. There are specific type of supplementation, adaptogens that can actually help the body heal faster than normal or usual. And I would do that first. And I believe they should get some very good results. I remember dealing with someone who some chemical went into their eye. They were working, and apparently they opened the container and it was under pressure, and a lot of things went into the eye, and the eye was scarred, and they had some serious problems. And apparently something that had happened like about 2-3 years ago, and they always had problems with the eyes, and they came to us. It was a male, and I introduced him to the eye optics formula, and he has been a client ever since. That eye has improved significantly, so much so that the doctors wanted to know what he did, because there was severe scarring, some tissue damage and that type of thing. But remember, the eye optics formula actually improves blood circulation in the eyes, in the cerebral hemisphere. So it's very important in actually addressing those particular types of situations. Someone is asking, just let me answer this quickly again, and I'll come back to you. Dr. Batson, what can be used to treat postnasal drip? You need some mineral formula, inflammation formula, long steam. If you drink cold water, stop it. And you can also use the santulan as well. I don't know where you're located. This is Russell, but that's a problem that could be corrected. But it's a very common problem that a lot of people have, and they don't know what it is. And left untreated, it could actually cause serious infection in the sinus cavity and that type of thing. Okay, Mr. Dominic, sir.
All right. Doc, what do you have for weak bladders? They call for an appointment, but apparently you're all booked up. The person is texting from South.
Oh, weak bladder. The thing is, there's something known as urinary incontinence, which can affect both male and female. People just call it weak bladder, where you find you going to the washroom often, right? Now, it could be a structural problem, especially if it's a female. I believe it's a woman, right? It's a female, right?
No indication.
No indication. Okay. So it could be a structural issue, because women, because of making children and pushing very, 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 that whole pushing situation, you may have been cut, do cesarean and that type of thing. What it does sometimes, it interferes and weakens the nerves in the core area. There are some women who suffer from uterine prolapse. There are some women where that means the womb literally is full or lower than it's supposed to. And that could actually rest on the bladder and cause problems with bladder issues. So I would suggest, if you have ever gone to a chiropractor or something like that, I suggest you get some sort of physiotherapist, preferably chiropractor. We have some very good chiropractors in Trinidad. And go and let them have a look at you. I believe that it could be a structural problem that they just need physically readjusting. If you do that and it's still problematic, then come back to me, and then I would now fix any sort of nerve issue that particular physical therapy has not corrected. But most persons who have urinary incontinence, bladder problems, unless as well, it could be a situation where you have had frequent infections, and it could be a situation where pathogens are there and causing this frequent urination. That could also be the situation. So I would do the chiropractor first, and then I would come to us. I know the situation with the appointment, so you could always get where we could actually give you a protocol maybe over the phone, or you could actually start using, for example, the Santulan, the water, and the mineral formula, inflammation formula. That would help you if it is a situation of pathogens being present there. Okay.
All right. Next up on the board. All right. Morning. Why? I don't understand, guys. Okay. Why is it that when I took zinc and vitamin D, my appetite increased?
When you took zinc and vitamin D, your appetite increased. Well, it boosts your immune system. So your body telling you, listen to me, you need to eat more because your immune system needs some help. And eating more isn't necessarily bad, no, it's just what you eat. People talk about, oh, I have it opened my appetite. Okay, good. Just eat sensible things. You know, and if you think it's really challenging, just get some popcorn and pop popcorn. Popcorn is full, yeah, and it helps you lose weight. It doesn't help you put on anything, you know. But that could be the reason why, because of the immune response, the body is now calling for food. Because you know, that's a reason. You know, one of the ways your body works. When you're getting sick, there's a reason why your appetite goes, right? The reason why your appetite goes is because your body wants to harness its resources and harness its energy so that it could focus on dealing with other aspects of the body and getting you better. So it doesn't want to have to deal with digesting food. Digestion is one of the most complicated processes in the body, and it takes the most amount of energy from the body. So that is why when you get sick, one of the things that your body does, it reduces the appetite. One of the things it also does as well is to cut off the supply of certain nutrients to the pathogens, bacteria, virus, fungus. So if you started taking vitamin D and zinc, which deal with a number of functions, but primarily immune function, apart from musculoskeletal, the possibility exists your body is saying, listen to me, these fellas needed food that you wasn't giving them. And as a result of that, now it is now asking you to feed the body more so that it could facilitate proper immune response and that type of thing. So eat, but just eat with sense. Complex carbohydrates as opposed to simple carbohydrates. So more provision, less rice, more seeds, grains. Like I was telling someone recently, if you understand anything, understanding your diet must have a lot of seeds. You see, cashew, almonds, nuts, except peanuts. Then things like chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. Make sure you're having your seeds. Simply because they are very, 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 very good in addressing a number of different aspects of health in the body. Okay?
So, Doc, so we on to the next one. Doc, do you have anything for growth in the eye, or does it require surgery?
No, if you have a growth, most likely they're referring to what is called a pterygium. And yes, the eye optics formula and the MSM is good for that. The MSM eye drop and the eye optics formula works very good for that particular situation.
All right, Doc, do you have the eye optic formula and the St. James branch, and how do you apply it to the eyes? They're also asking, how can gallstones be treated, or the gallbladder? Can't seem to get it straight.
Yes, the eye optics formula is available at the St. James office. How you normally use eye optics formula, you make sure you shake up your eye drop. You put 2 drops in each eye twice for the day, morning, night. As it relates to the situation with the, what was the other question? I just looked at something here and it distracted me. Yeah,
right. The gallstones.
Oh, right. Yeah. One of the things that gallbladder cleanses are very good. People who end up with gallstones and problems with the gallbladder are usually the dairy lovers. So people who like cheese, they like butter, you like plenty ice cream, you like plenty milk. You know yourself. Your gallbladder plays a significant role in the metabolism of fat, right? The liver produces bile, and bile is usually dealt with by the gallbladder. The problem with a lot of people is that your gallbladder gets like a lot of sludge inside it because of all this sort of cheese and butter and things eating. You may not be drinking plenty of water, your diet may not be as you would like it to be, or as it should be. And as a result of that, you develop gallbladder situations. One of the things that you could use for the gallbladder, or to help gallbladder health, stop the cold water, reduce dairy significantly, and actually start focusing on Santulan actually helps as a gallbladder cleanse. You could also look, there are different gallbladder cleanses that are available, and you clean your gallbladder. There's a misconception in the medical community that when you have gallstones, the gallstones cannot leave the gallbladder because of where they're located. That's not true. That's not true at all. Anything can leave anything in the body based on, usually I should say, based on the anatomy and physiology of the body. Only if you have maybe a growth or a tumor or something blocking, then it becomes serious to the extent where help may not be able to be rendered. But once it is not that situation and it's the gallbladder you're dealing with, generally it is easy to actually deal with that. Okay?
All right, so we're on to the next one. Let's see. Good morning, Doc. I am diabetic. What is a good medication for bleeding in the back of the eyes?
If you are bleeding in the back of the eyes, which is detached retina, possibility exists you are a diabetic. So you may have what is referred to as diabetic retinopathy, or you are a non-diabetic who has retinopathy, which is detached retina. What could be done? Eye optics formula, MSM. There are some people in the medical community believe that surgery is the only solution to that. I disagree. I have seen instances and have testimonies of persons who have had that situation and they no longer had it. And all they used was the eye drop, the IT. We gave them Optimizer. I actually brought Optimizer first, primarily for eye health. And then we realized it works so well with everything else that we start recommending it for everything else. But Optimizer is a high antioxidant. And when you're dealing with your eyes, eye problems are usually instances where the eye has high oxidative stress in the body. High oxidative stress. Okay, so those telephone numbers, again, you can give us a call on 222. That's 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That's 314-9975. Those locations, we are located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That's Money Talks building in Montrose, Chaguanas. We are also on the corner of Ramsey Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Davie, as well as Triangle Building, in Scarborough, Tobago. Those numbers again, 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. Those of you internationally who requesting shipping and that type of thing, that number would be 1-868-314-9975. Send your information there. We are working on. We actually have so many persons that we deal with persons in phases, right? So that's something that we need to, we're working on for you. I do apologize again for the Santulan situation and the circulation T situation. No fault of my own. We try our best, but we're working on it. We're going to get it resolved for you guys. Just be a little patient with us. As well as the situation with the appointments. I'm trying my best. But keep in mind, if you need to see me, I'm one person. And, before COVID, we used to do our open clinic days where we would have taken a certain number of persons and we would have given them a number system. So with the number system, you would have known, okay, let's say number 10 or your number 15, you could have come get your number, you go and do what you need to do, and then we call you. But COVID has sort of made that a little difficult for us because we couldn't do it like that, obviously, because we could only have a certain amount of persons. But I'm still trying my best to do necessary fittings. I have Miss Maramdan there. A pleasant good morning to you, Miss Karishma Ramdan. A pleasant good morning to Mr. Paul Green, our two senior consultants, blood microscopists. A pleasant good morning to Mr. Bastamanti, to Miss Monix, Miss Ananda, the hardworking staff, Mr. Wilson, Miss Jenna, Miss Roma in South there, Miss Budram in St. James, the ever popular Miss Eleanor, Mr. Green, Mr. Montoot. Have I forgotten anybody else, boy? Miss is Marshall in Chaguanas again. Hardworking staff. And we actually in the process of, we training some persons and that type of thing. A lot of work, but you know what they say, when you're busy, being busy is a good thing. So let me just say, Mr. Dominic, I think our time is very close to finishing.
Almost there. We're almost there.
Okay, good. Well, you are the one who controlling the wheel, so I don't know if we have time for any more questions or if I need to wrap up. Let me know.
Boss man, again, I will not be held responsible for the number of messages that we have here on board. All right. I will not. Okay. What plans can you recommend for an anemic person to take if you don't recommend the Santulan?
No. If you are anemic, if you are anemic and you are at the stage where your anemia is very, very bad, you do not take a cleanse. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're going to end up in problems. It means what you need to do hydration first. You don't drink enough water. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. So you're looking at Alkagen water, you're looking at the advanced chlorophyll, you're looking at optimizer and or nerve restore. I'll show you some teas in there. I'll give you some circulation tea so we get your circulation going, we get your hydration going. And then subsequent to that, maybe about a month, 6 weeks, 2 months after, then you could graduate to Santulan. Santulan is a very, very good product. I mean, all the products we carry at Batson Associates are very good. I have a testimony from Ms. Leslie here who spoke about the inflammation formula and the nerve restore. Excellent combination as it relates to sleep, relaxation, dealing with stress, depression, anxiety, those type of things. However, you have to understand that when it comes, and this is no boast, last thing I'll say, and that's why I'm so good at what I do, because I'm very thorough. And I think I'm one of the first persons I've ever heard spoke so much about healing crisis. I'm not criticizing my counterparts in natural medicine, but I don't make joke with healing crisis. And you have to understand that toxins, because toxins can stay in your tissues for years. Listen to me, you carrying around rubbish for years, kind of 20, 30, 50 years of rubbish inside of you, and you don't know, Don't let people feel, again, people say, well, I used to drink alcohol, I take cocaine once in a while, I take this, I take that, but it was 50 years ago. Listen to me, it's the same body. And if you were not educated enough or you didn't have access to the information to know how to treat with your body well after those circumstances, the damage is still there. I am telling you. Your body repairs itself on a regular basis, but it could only repair itself based on what it is given. And that is why I was saying, I have dealt with people with chikungunya, and that is why I was also saying, with this COVID-19 here, people are going to get COVID, and God forbid, you would not get over it. But you can get over it. The thing is, there has to be a protocol for you to follow to deal with that. If you do not deal with that, I'm telling you, you're going to be in some trouble, especially, God forbid, if a variant hit you, you're going to be in some serious, if you think you get in trouble to breathe now, that might be the end of you. That might be the end of you. And as I was telling you, I'm going to look for that research article, and that's one of the things I promised to do for you guys. I have Mr. Shakil, Mr. Shakil Jamil, who is one of the most hardworking persons I've ever met. Continually doing a good job. But I can't overwork him, even though you don't complain. But that's one of the things that we're going to do, where I'm going to start to actually cite articles for you. I'm going to put it up on our Facebook and different channels that we're working. Because we're working to get to better our best. Always keep that in mind. I am not, but the Batson Associates that you know now is not the Batson Associates that we had 5 years ago, or the Batson Associates that we had 3 years ago. We have continually improved and bettered ourselves. Yes, we have some challenges like everybody in the world, but we're working assiduously to address it. If you cannot get an appointment to see me and you know your problem is a real pressing problem and it's really bad, just press a little more. Call them because they know I'm doing the makeup day, especially in St. James. Miss Eleanor is trying her best to fit you in Chabonas. And oh my God, how I could forget Miss Hills and Miss Robinson. Oh, look, I can get hung up there, boy. Some of our new staff with us, and they're doing very, very well. They pick up very quickly. So we're working with you guys. We're not, sleeping on the job. So as we always say at Batson Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Thank you very much to our Facebook family for being here. Mr. Dominic, sir, always a pleasure, to be in your company and the family of Sky 99.5. And I look forward to next week, Sunday, please God, sir.
Yes, my friend. All right, so before you run away,
Tell me.
All right, final question here. What can be used for swelling under the arms? It's very painful.
Swelling under the arms. If you are getting swelling under the arm, possibility you are you are getting a boil. Which eventually that swelling is going to make a head, and you're going to see all sort of pus and all sort of things comes out of it. So it is an indication of toxins in the body, liver, gastrointestinal. What I would suggest you do is that you do not use Santulan first, but you do the water cleanse. So you do the alkagen water. And it is usually an indication of gastrointestinal, liver, lymphatic issues in the body. All right, always keep that in mind. So, Mr. Dominic, again, sir, thank you very much.
All right, no problem, my friend. Look forward to the next time.
Yes, sir.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much.
You're very
Shaquille,
welcome.
drink the tonic that the man make fair, please.
I'm drinking it. Actually, now I now boost my I now feel energetic.
All right, guys, have a great day.
Okay, I think they're saying something about yes, sir. Or the Facebook, I don't know.
Repeat about the boils before we go?
Oh, yeah.
We'll say the Dominic. Because what happens on cold and
then. And that affected it. Okay, cool. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, you lost volume on the live. We apologize for that. Someone apparently tried to call on that particular phone there, right? So the situation with the boils, what I was saying is that under the person's arm, the person said they have a swelling under the arm. Usually you get boils. Now it would start with a swelling and then it would pain, and then eventually it makes a head. And if you squeeze it, all sorts of, noxious things will come out of it. But that's an indication of the body cleansing itself. So I went on to say that if you're a person who are prone to boils, and boils find places to go, they like between your legs, they like close to your buttocks, it's find some annoying places to go. And the reason for that is a lot of the times it is a buildup and issues associated with liver, gastrointestinal, kidney. So what I suggested to the person, I said they should not use Santulan. What they should do is do the water cleanse with the alkagen water, use the mineral formula, and the tea that they should use is either circulation eye or liver tea. And they do that for about a month to 6 weeks, and then they use the Santulan, and you should be okay. All right? So my Facebook family, as usual, is always a pleasure. I'm not ashamed to say I'm very hungry. Otherwise, I would have given you guys about 15 minutes again, but I'm really, really famished because when I talk, especially like this, I get hungry very quickly because, it's mental and I'm not just talking off of the top of my head, right? So as usual, I appreciate you guys. Always a pleasure to be in your company. Always a pleasure to be you inviting me into your home with your family. So, to the persons that I have touched this morning, I pray and I hope that you continue to stay in good health, that you take care of yourself. We know money is always a situation, especially with COVID, we are a little financially. And actually very soon, one of the things that I'm going to do is that we actually going to, because you have different types of health, people know me as an individual as it relates to Batson and Associates, but I'm an entrepreneur, and there's something called pocketitis. A good friend of mine always talks about it. Let me say a pleasant good morning to Mr. Kishon Vane. So I don't know if you're listening, but this is where this gentleman is going to come in very soon, because very soon myself, Dr. Jason Batson, will be actually going on the avenue, well, not going on the avenue, sorry, that didn't sound good, or going down the avenue of where we're going to be dealing with financial health. And it's not a matter of a scam thing or nothing like that, but actually pointing you to a direction where, if you're open-minded, you'll be able to see certain things. So that's coming very soon, where we'll be actually dealing with financial health. Because as much as your physical health is important, if you do not have financial health, you cannot even treat the physical body because, you can't buy anything, right? Okay, so keep that in mind. So take care of yourself, guys, and until next week, where we're going to be here on Thursday, God's willing. Very soon, we're going to be looking at doing lives at the night time, but I'm not going to give you, because I don't want to, time is of the essence and that type of thing. So most likely, we're going to be doing one every 2 weeks or something like that, and that's something that you could look forward to. All right? Thank you very much for your time, guys. God bless you. Bless your family. Those numbers again, 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. 314-9975. Those locations, we are located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That's Money Talks building in Montrose, Chaguanas. We're also on the corner of Ramsonwood Trace and the SS Erie Main Road in Baby, as well as Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. Tobago, Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. Tobago, I will see you this week, God's willing. And as we always say at Batson and Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. God bless him. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care.
Thank you very much, Dr. Batson, for your time and your expertise, advice. Last Wednesday, Dr. Batson.
Okay, good. You're welcome.